What's up guys, Magicalibra back today with another Dark Magician video with the new Dark Magician support. This time we have a new fusion monster, and that is going to be the Chaos, if my camera will focus, that will be the Chaos Fusion Magician. So basically what this new card does is it's kind of very similar to the Yubel Fusion monster, as its requirements to summon it are a bit similar. So what you're going to be doing is needing to use a Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl plus one or more effect monsters on the field. So that will require Dark Magician being a normal monster or Dark Magician Girl being an effect monster, plus one or more effect monsters on the field, so it makes it a great super poly target. Not to mention, you could just use this with your Secrets of Dark Magic anyways, but it does require two monsters to summon it. Even though it is an Eye of Timaeus target, because it does mention Dark Magician or Girl, so you could do that, but it's better to super poly this card anyway, because of its effects. So what it actually does is, while face up on the field, this card is also the attributes of the materials used for its fusion summon. Being a chaos monster having to do with light and dark, we introduced all the attributes for this specific card. Now, of course, it's a dark monster because Dark Magician, but it can be light, earth, wind, water, fire, and divine if you get that lucky. But basically, it becomes all the attributes used for its fusion summon. It does have another effect that says once per chain, you can target one card on the field and place it on the bottom of the deck. You can only use this effect a number of times equal to the number of attributes used for this card's fusion summon. So, not that it is not equal to the number of this card's current attribute, but for the summon. So even if this card's effects were negated and then you activated its effect, or something like that, it's based on its summon, not on what it actually currently is. So even if, like, you say, for example, played a card that changed its attribute to water, and it's no longer all the other attributes, it's just water, it doesn't matter. It's based on its materials that were used for it, not what it currently is. So generally, at most, you probably get 3 returns off of this card. Once per chain, return a card to the deck. You probably get 3, generally at most. But that's still really good to just like target, remove, target, remove, target, remove. But anyways, you can only use that up to its attributes. And if this card is sent to the grave by a card or effect, you can special summon one monster from your extra deck that mentions Dark Magician as material, but negate its effects. So there is that. Now that last effect is not once per turn, so if you want to play 3 of this and just send it to grave, special any of your Dark Magician fusion monsters, go right ahead. But their effects are negated, so just remember that. And if they leave the field, you cannot revive them back unless you ignore summoning conditions. So anyways, we're going to show you how to fusion summon this card, of course, with our super poly down there. But this is how we're going to go ahead and do this. So we're basically, to summon this, yeah, you're going to need 2 cards. And one of them is going to be needing to be super poly, generally. But you could use Secrets of Dark Magic, doesn't really matter. We're just going to keep this in our hand for a while, and we're going to go ahead and declare Illusion of Chaos. And what we'll do is we'll go ahead and add our robe from the last video that we showed. And then we put the Illusion of Chaos back on top of the deck. Now, robe's effect will then special summon itself. So we special summon into defense position. And then robe's effect will activate if it's normal or special. We can then special another from the deck. So we then get to special summon our Magician's Rod wherever he may be. We can then special summon the Rod. Alright. Rod's effect will then activate. We can then search for the circle. Alright. And then what we can do is activate that circle. And then the circle effect will then send that Dark Magician to the graveyard. And the Eternal will then place that in the spell and trap zone. And now what we can do is we can just simply, we're going to activate this to special summon the Dark Magician. Alright. And then we could use the Eternal Soul. Actually, we are going to declare the effect of Eternal Soul to then special summon or search for our Soul Servant. Yeah, we'll probably do that. Now, we could have searched for the Magician's Will, and then Magician's Will could grab us our Soul Servant, so we could have a fourth body. But we're trying to limit our summons here, so what we'll do is we will special summon this into attack mode by sending this to the grave and sending this to the grave, and then activate this card's effect to then revive back the robe. My bad. Revive back the robe in defense. And then what we can do is we can then activate our Soul Servant. We don't need to do this now. We could just set Super Poly and pass turn, but we'll activate Soul Servant and we'll top deck something. It doesn't matter. Send to grave. We'll then banish the Soul Servant. And we get to draw 1 card and 2 cards, because that's a Palladium monster and that's a Dark Magician. So we then get to draw 2 cards. And when you look at that, we can continue our combo, and we have Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl now. So we can then set that card. Beautiful. Perfect. It just becomes a negate. And, you know, that's a search. And there you go. But anyway, what we'll do is we will just set the Super Poly. And then we can pass turn. And let's say they're playing something besides dark. Let's say they're playing light. I don't know. It's Blue Eyes. You could then activate the Super Poly, fusing the Dark Magician to the grave. We can fuse that to the grave. We can fuse that to the grave. And we can fuse all of their monsters to the grave on the field to then special summon our Chaos Fusion Magician. And we'll send that to the grave. And now Chaos Fusion Magician becomes Dark attribute, as it already is, but it gains the attributes of the other effects, so of the other cards. So if he's playing light, it's also dark and light, and once per chain, he can only do it twice because he's dark and light, so once per chain, you can then target a card on the field and place it on the bottom of the deck. So you just get to return. You get to target and then return up to twice. And then if our opponent makes this card get sent to the grave by a card or effect, so whether it be a card, like being attacked, or whether it be an effect of a card, whatever, you can then just, it basically floats into any of our other Dark Magician monsters, but it is the effects of that, whatever monster that will be negated. So you could just float into this 3k beat stick. You could float into this 3k beat stick. It'll still be Dark Magician in the grave, though. So remember that. You could float into this 3k beat stick, this one. You could float into this, actually, and that would be great. You could just float into that. If this card goes to the grave, it floats into this. And then if they destroy this in battle, you know, you can then special summon, you know, Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl, but you don't play with Dark Magician Girl except for this. So you would need this in the grave before you could activate that. So make sure to remember that. But it's all just a bunch of, you know, back and forth stuff. So make sure to remember that. But that is basically how you are going to summon the Chaos Fusion Magician with Super Poly. Or you could do Secrets of Dark Magic. It's all up to you. But if you like the video, if you like the new Fusion Monster, make sure to leave the like on the video and share this with your friends and all of your Dark Magician enthusiasts. And don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow the Instagram for more posts and videos for the Dark Magician support. And as always, guys, keep it real.